I always talk about buy and hold investing. What if I told you by buying and holding your dividend stocks for long term, you could actually make more money from them? Would you be interested? Join me next, Firefighter Financial Toolbox. Hey guys, I'm always talking about buying and holding stocks long term, right? We buy them, we hold them forever. We don't sell them. We're not day traders, we're buying and holding. Now, this is especially important with dividend investing, and I'm going to tell you why. If you stick around to the end, you're going to figure out how by holding dividend stocks long term, you can actually make a higher dividend yield on them. If you're new to the channel, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing. It helps me make content to make you guys better investors. All right, let's go to the whiteboard. Okay, you guys, we're talking about how dividend stocks pay a bigger dividend. Now, how does that work? Dividend yield. First, let's explain how dividend yield works. A dividend yield is determined by the dividend that stock pays. So let's say we have XYZ Corporation. Okay, XYZ stock sells for $100 a share. XYZ stock pays a $3 dividend a year. So if we take the dividend and divide it by the stock price, we get the percentage. So if we divide 3 by 100, we get 3%. So we know that when we buy this stock, we're going to get $3 per share every year that we hold it. Now, let's go a little step further. Let's say that we have $1,000 to invest, right? So we have $1,000. We're going to buy 10 shares of XYZ at 100 a piece, right? So 10 shares, that's going to give us an annual dividend of $30, right? Because we know that our dividend yield is 3%. Now let's say we hold that stock for 5 years. And the stock price goes up to $120. And quite often, as share prices go up, the dividend price also goes up with it. So let's say now it's 2024, and the share price for XYZ Corp is now $120 per share. And they're paying an annual dividend of $4. So if we do the same math, $4 into 120 is still 3%, right? So we have a dividend yield there of 3%. But here's where it gets kind of neat. We didn't pay $120 per share. We paid $100 per share. So by doing that math, we can determine that because our cost basis, now when you buy a stock, whatever the stock is or ETF price is, that is called your cost basis. Okay? Your cost basis is how much you paid for that stock or that ETF. Now, that doesn't change. If you reinvest, your cost basis will change based on the fact that as you reinvest your dividends, you're buying at whatever that price is. But your original cost basis is $100. So if we take that and we say, okay, now it's been 5 years, now it's paying $4, right? And we divide that by our cost basis of 100, we're now getting a 4% dividend yield on that same stock. Now, it actually gets a little better because all we're doing here is assuming that the stock price has gained and the dividend has increased. Now, not all companies increase a dividend every year. Some actually cut them, but let's assume for simplicity that they did. Now, here's where it gets even better. Not only did we get an extra percent, an extra dollar per share, right, of our dividend, but we've also had a 20% increase in our stock price. So now, instead of having $1,000, we actually have $1,200 worth of the stock, right? Now, if we've been reinvesting our dividends, let me go ahead and clear the whiteboard so we can do some more math here. So let's say that the first year we have $1,000, we get $30 in our dividends, right? And we have 10 shares. So we reinvest that. The next year we have 10.3 shares. And each one of those pays $3. So the next month, the next year, we might get $31 in dividends. We reinvest that again. Now we're at 10.6 shares. See how this works? Each time now we're getting 3% of 10.6, which might be $32. Now it's probably a fraction, you guys. I'm simplifying the math. The next year we are at 10.9 shares, right? Now we're getting, let's say, $33. We reinvest that again. Now we're at 11.2 shares. Now it's 3% times 11.2, which ends up being about 34.5, let's say. Notice how not only by doing nothing are we increasing our dividend each year, right? But we're also increasing by reinvesting how many shares we have of that company. And that is huge because it snowballs. Not only does the stock price go up, generally, not always, mind you, because stocks go up and down, but also our dividends are going up. So now we have more money in the stock price, right? So not only do we have an increase in the stock price, but we also have a increase in the dividends, right? Now, what this is called is yield on cost. So the longer you hold the stock, the more your yield on cost will increase. So let's wipe this off one more time. And we're going to talk about how you figure out yield on cost. So once again, we bought the stock, we bought 10 shares, right? At $100 a share. And we get paid a $30 dividend, right? And we buy that in 2019, let's say, right? This year. So here's our little thing. So we buy it here at 2019, right? Here's 2019, and here's 2024. Let's say we do a 5-year horizon. So we buy it at 100. This is 100, and it goes up to 120. So we're at 120 at 2024. So, as I said, now let's say that the dividend has gone up, and now in 2024 they're paying $4 for a dividend per share. But the stock price is up to $120, so they're still paying a dividend of 3%, right? But because we bought it at $100 a share, we're still getting the $4 dividend over here. So as I said, now we divide the $100 cost basis into the $4 dividend, and we are getting an effective 4% dividend rate now. Our dividend yield is better than what the company is paying because we've held that stock long term. And the longer you hold it, the more you have the opportunity for this to increase. Now, as I said, this is not always a given. Stocks do go up and down, and some companies may cut their dividend. But the same math works whether you're doing individual stocks or ETFs that do dividend stocks. Now, because you do ETFs, you buy whole shares. So if you know your share price, let's say your share price is $100 this year and it pays a 3% dividend, the math stays the same. But instead of having one company's stock, you have a basket of stocks. All right, you guys. I hope you understood dividend yield and yield on cost. If you have questions about this stuff, leave them in the comments. Ask me, I will answer them. First of all, let me say, once again, I am not a financial planner. I do not have all the answers, and I'm not trying to give you any kind of investing advice. I'm just giving you tools from the toolbox to make you a better investor. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I try to make a couple videos a week, and if you like them, let me know. All right, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.